This is Robb Flynn from Machine Head, and you're about to check out the Kerrang podcast.
Hello everybody, welcome to another Kerrang podcast. My name is Katie and I'm here at the Holborn Studios in London with Machine Head's Robb Flynn. Welcome, Rob.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty awesome.
Excellent. You've just had a lunch preparing for the rest of your afternoon of press activities.
That's correct.
Right, a few days here talking to people in England about the upcoming new Machine Head album, Unto the Locust. I've had the pleasure of looking through all of the lyrics earlier today that were sent over from Roadrunner Records. It seems like a very personal and kind of deep album on your low level there.
Some of the songs are personal. I mean, a song like I Am Hell is about a female arsonist, so it's got nothing to do with me at all, which was actually a pretty cool place to write from. Our guitarist Phil had suggested writing a song about an arsonist, mm-hmm. And I had a song called I Am Hell, which wasn't necessarily about anything. It was just these totally warped lyrics, and so I was like, hey, maybe I could put these together, I Am Hell, like creating hell by starting these fires. And I had taken a crack at writing it as a male arsonist, and demoed it, and it was cool, but I couldn't really connect with it. I couldn't really, I don't feel like that. And so I started researching arsonists and pyromaniacs, and I stumbled across this thing where in the medical psychological field, women arsonists are considered the monsters of that field, because whereas a man does these things out of anger or revenge or domination, when a woman does these acts, the only thing that explains this kind of incomprehensible behavior is love. And it just freaked me out. And so I rewrote the whole song in this mindset of a woman and, doing it for love. And it was an interesting place, obviously, as a man to write from there. And it ended up being just this black song. It's a very dark song and very intense.
Is that quite a sort of regular process for you when you go about writing, to sort of go into research into quite sort of deep territories rather than just drawing from your own experiences?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's once you start getting into something, especially when you're trying to get a little more descriptive, and it's cool to do a little bit of research. A song like Darkness Within is obviously just a very personal song. It's, me and my life as a musician and how much music means to me. And, but then you write a song like, Phil wrote a song on the record, and he wrote most of the lyrics for, which was Pearls for Swine. And it's about addiction, and it's about not necessarily any one addiction, but it could be, we wrote it purposefully vague enough so that it could apply to anything, but it's just about addiction in general. And when you're doing that, you kind of go like, you're trying to get these descriptive words and these almost metaphorical things. So yeah, it's cool to do a little bit of research. Sometimes we're inspired by society, stuff we see on the news. Other stuff is inspired by personal experience. Other stuff is just inspired by, wow, man, that's some fucked up shit.
Plenty to draw from, I'm sure, at the moment.
Can I swear?
Yes, of course. I wanted to ask you, if I may, about the Darkness Within. It's a kind of, I've seen Phil online describe it as almost sort of ballad-like in Machine Head terms. And it's a very personal song. Looking at the lyrics, you said it's all about music and your experience in the music industry and how important music is to you. And you kind of compare it almost as a faith. And you mentioned calling out.
Faith?
Yeah, a faith, almost. Would that be right? It's sort of music has become your religion?
I don't want to try and shove my, thing on anybody. I know many people who are religious, and they're awesome people, and I like them. And I know people who are satanic, and they're awesome, and I like them. For me, I wasn't really raised with religion in my life, and a little bit here and there, but a lot of people turn to, they turn to religion in times of trouble, and a lot of times I turned to music, and it helped carry me through a lot of dark periods of my life, and And that's essentially what that song is about. It's just, that.
Would you say it's quite true of a lot of kind of heavy metal music fans as well, that they take music incredibly seriously, and it is such a passionate part of their lives that it does become something that saves them from dark times and improves the great times, and a sort of faith and soundtrack of their lives?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's why metal fans are so passionate. I mean, for me personally, I mean, just my experience, it's, you talk about a soundtrack. I can think of every moment of my life, and there's a soundtrack to it. Some kind of music, even like my earliest memories. And so yeah, I absolutely believe that. And I don't think that everybody necessarily feels that way. Sometimes I talk to people and they're like, yeah, music's cool. And I'm like, music's cool? Like, it's okay? Like, that's just isn't. Yeah, it is. It's completely incomprehensible to me. Like, when I find a band, and I still consider us, the four of us, all music fans. I mean, we're still, we love discovering new bands, and we love finding some new thing, whether it's, Americana, or whether it's metal, or whether it's hip hop, in my case, probably hip hop. Just discovering this new thing or this new sound, and how it can just make you go, wow, that's freaking awesome.
Is it nice to think that over the course of the years that you've been doing stuff with Machine Head, there are so many thousands of people in the world that are using your songs as reasons to get out of bed in the morning, reasons to cheer up, reasons to be able to deal with problems in their lives?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you hear these really serious, super heartfelt stories that just, they'll start to cry, and I'll be like, don't do that, you're going to make me cry. And then other times you hear about people who play drinking games to Halo. Every time the game is, every time they hear the harmonic, they have to take a sip of beer, and they just get hammered. I'm like, man, there's a lot of harmonics in that song. That could get messy. 9-minute span right there. So yeah, that they can have this enjoyment, or they can have this game, or they can have this hard time. Yeah, that's the ultimate.
I was finally going to ask about Who We Are, the closing track on the album. Mm-hmm. Lyrically, and I may have misinterpreted, it reads as quite like an anthem. I can imagine kind of large crowds of Machine Head fans sort of singing it along as a kind of army of metalers kind of uniting. What was the inspiration behind it? Have I completely got that one wrong?
Yeah, it's a little more from a personal standpoint. Mm-hmm. I think it could become that, but when I try and write, I'm trying not to write for an army of metalers. You know what I mean? Like, if it's going to be real, it needs to come from some place that I at least identify with. And I think that it's about that came from a place where I was just feeling. There was a time not that long ago when I was just feeling extremely judged for what I did, and extremely. For the type of music I play, and for what just choices I've made in my life. And, that was just like a fuck you, this is who I am. I sit there, and sometimes I talk to my son who goes to school, and like people make fun of him, and, not necessarily because of his dad, but, people do judge. And, you sit there, and I'll sit there and be like, you know what, dude, like if those people don't like you, just be yourself. This is who you are, and this is who I am, and be proud of that fact. Fuck them if they don't like you. And that song is that.
Thank you for shedding some light on that. There is a DVD that will be coming out with the special edition of the album. Mm-hmm. The album's actually coming out on September 26th, and the special edition will arrive after that. The DVD is a making of Under the Locust. Do you think that's something that will kind of open some eyes, sort of shed some extra light on the content and the sort of inspiration behind the record?
Yeah, probably. I hope so. It's a 20-minute making of the record. And
any surprises on there that people will be interested to see?
I don't know. I don't know if it'll be a surprise, but I think seeing some of the, we hired this string quartet named Quartet Rouge that played on the Green Day song 21 Guns, and we were at Green Day studio, and I had always wanted to bring in a string quartet, and they recommended them because they had a great experience with them. And, just I think seeing us work together, and me producing them, and, they ended up on 3 of the tracks, and it was a really cool element. We didn't really want to go too crazy with it. They're only on small little bits of it. Didn't want to make it like a black metal thing where it was all the way through a song. Just little parts to make them tasteful. And yeah, there's a couple of cool things on there. Will it be a Kerrang shocker? I don't know.
No, not asking for that one. Thank you very much, Rob. Lovely to chat to you.
Yeah.
And hope to see you again soon, next time you're touring.
All right.